Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Planet Coaster. Now this video is a little different than most of my other videos. In this video, I am doing a time-lapse build. So recently I discovered a new piece that just came into the game that is kind of a square with stars on it, and it can be used in many different ways. And so what I decided to do was to build a giant building made of these star plates and put a roller coaster inside. So kind of like Space Mountain, but yeah, in Planet Coaster. And so this time lapse is me attempting, failing, succeeding on figuring out how I'm gonna build this. So right now I'm building the base plate for the wall. I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible, or I'm trying to make as big a piece as possible so that I can just stand it up on its side, duplicate it a bunch of times, etc., and make... See, now you can see the kind of stars. And it's a really cool idea. I saw some other people use them, and this is definitely a first pass. I'm gonna come back into this later and either try again from scratch or just continue on what the finished product is. At the end of this video, you'll get to see the coaster fully built inside of here, etc. So I ran into some issues when I was building this because one, it's really hard in a 3D space with black on black to be able to see where you're going and what you're making, and the controls. I'm still learning all of the quick controls and the way to build bigger things and everything, so it took me quite a bit of figuring out to really get down the method of turning large chunks into buildings by adding one piece of a building and then taking that and duplicating that, because you can't just select a whole bunch of things and duplicate. You have to turn it into a building and then you can duplicate it. And this part was really tough, getting everything lined up, getting it the proper height, the proper weight, and then the proper height and direction, and then running into lag frame rates and issues with being able to pass through, because the camera won't go through certain solid objects at certain angles. So I had to build little doors and pass through little things, and it was just a pain. I would get stuck and I couldn't zoom in and I couldn't zoom out, and every movement was very small because I'm working with, at this point, with the floor fully intact, about 6,500 pieces, which for one single building, as you're about to see, is too much. You can only have 4,000. Okay, so there's only 4,000 in this one. Oh no, it's 4,000 total, but it's 6,000 building pieces. But yeah, and so you can't make a building with more than 4,000 pieces. So I had to figure out something I could do. So I started taking the pieces off the sides. I ended up taking out the whole floor, which you'll see in just a second. But I'm gonna skip ahead. Enjoy the middle of this time lapse. This is me finishing up building the actual housing, and then I go to a different location, a different park, to try to build, because since I can't use the floor, I have to try to make a dark base underneath, because even though there's no light inside, it still spills and then you can't really see the stars. So I'll be right back with you momentarily. Alright, so here we are in the new park. I saved 2 halves as blueprints, as you saw, so it would be easier to put together. Now I'm picking out the coaster. Originally I wanted to go with like a full throttle launched hydraulic coaster, but I ended up going with the steel hyper coaster instead, just because it looks more like a spaceship than the hydraulic coaster. And so I had to move the coaster a little closer to the building so I could see just how high I could do. And I had to try to make sure I didn't go too wide. Now this coaster is a mess. It's definitely not safe to ride as a human being. It's definitely deadly, terrifying, horrifying, sickening, all those things. But I just kind of wanted to build quickly something in an interesting like shape with what I could do in the space. And so this is what I threw together real quickly. I'm going to take it inside as soon as I get close to the end so I make sure that it's not too big. And it turns out okay. We're going to do, in just a minute once it's completed, we're going to do a ride through, and then we're going to do some changes and do another POV, and then a few more changes, and then I think a third POV, and that's where the video ends. But basically this... It's not a very good coaster, but it's a lot of up and downs and quick and fast. And I don't know, I definitely have a shell, but it's very, very, very terrifying, and it fits well. I can add a little bit more to it, but I think overall what I was able to accomplish real quickly was decent. So here we are just finishing up the coaster, and then we're gonna do the POV. So here we go. Now I did find out that with there's birds inside of my building, but with the amount of space and the lack of total darkness, it really is hard to see the stars on the opposite side. So I might revisit this where it's a coaster encased in a tube of stars, and so the entire track is inside of the tube, which is going to be very, very tedious, both building a coaster that works that way as well as building the tube around it. I mean, once I get specific sections, it won't take too long. And there's a gap between the roof and the wall. But here we go. First full ride. First full POV ride. It's not very smooth. I didn't go back over it with smoothing or anything. I literally put it together, put it inside the building, and went on with my day. I went with just a basic theme of a lot of turning around and corkscrewing down. And a couple breaks, a couple more breaks, and we're back into the station. So it's okay. I mean, it's not super great, obviously, first pass, but proof of concept. Yeah, ratings 4, 10, and 7. That's not good to have fear and nausea so high, but alright, now I need to build basically a couple patches that I can use to finish the walls that have gaps in them, or I don't know. I ended up putting a floor in too, which you'll see in just a little bit, because now that I'm in the park that I'm staying in and I don't need to move it, I can deal with the floor. And everything looks better at night. So right before the next ride, see, I had a lot of issues right here in getting things level because the ground wasn't level, and I don't know, it was just really tough. I should have been building directly on the ground like I was in the other park when I built the other parts, but hey, we can't do everything perfect every time. But whoa. Okay, a little laggy there. It is going at 400 times the regular rate, and it's dealing with a lot of pieces. So hopefully this isn't too hard to watch, and hopefully it doesn't last too long once I get these things put together. But yeah, I'll be back right before the next POV. Alright, now we have the floor in place and the final walls. We're going to put up the... we're going to bring up nighttime, and we're going to ride this coaster in the dark. Alright, so now that it's completely dark with the floor in, it's a little bit better. You can see more of the stars. You can definitely see the stars on the floor and the ceiling better, but the walls are still funky. And because there are two different types of star boards, but I only use the one type, so you get the repeating identical stars look. But I mean, it's not bad actually. From if you're not looking directly at it, it does have a very mystic feel, and you can almost overlook the pattern. But I still can see the gaps in a couple gaps between the roof and the walls. But like I said, I still need to work on this and go back to it. But it's definitely, you can see the moonlight coming through in certain places, and I mean that helps, but it's not the style that I want for this. So after this POV, I'm going to add some more lighting, and that should make things better. And hopefully, yeah, this is a really good part where it goes down. Maybe I'll make a tunnel or something. I don't know, but I'm going to add some lights, and we'll do one more POV at the end, but this is where my commentary ends. Please enjoy the rest of the video, and I hope you guys enjoy some stuff like this. I know I played a lot of Planet Coaster, but I've never done anything like this. I mostly do the challenges, and so if you want to see more challenges, let me know. If you want to see more just building like this, also let me know. I'm not super creative, but I like to think I am, so hopefully sometime I'll be better at doing this stuff and be able to make proof of concept things a little bit better. So I'm hiding all the lights outside, if you can't tell, just to kind of make it seem a little more heavenly. So from looking at it, the building from the outside, you'll be able to see all the flaws and stuff, but hey, it's a roller coaster. It's magic. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys stick around to the end just to see the last POV with all the lights. But I'm The Trouble with Bubbles. This is Planet Coaster. If you want to help me choose games to play, head on over to patreon.com and look up The Trouble with Bubbles. I have a page there. The link is in the description. And I'm using Patreon as a way for my patrons, subscribers, people who watch my videos to help me decide what games to play. Basically, if you donate $20, you can choose. If you pledge $20 a month, you get to choose what game I play up to $9.99, and I'll do a series on it. And so there's a whole bunch of different levels that you can choose from. Follow me on Twitch. I've started streaming a little more. My Saturday streams have gone from YouTube to Twitch just because Twitch is a little bit easier to do streaming on than YouTube. But alright, so we're coming up on the last POV right now. Huh, that was quicker than I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, so here's the last POV. I'll leave it here. I've just been rambling anyway. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you in the next video.